So welcome back. I hope you all are having a good day, drinking plenty of water, because I definitely am not. Trying to fix my microphone for the past 20 minutes, if not more, and it's genuinely not working. So it's turned my pretty average day into a pretty horrific day. So if this actually gets turned into a video, I'm gonna leave this in here, because why not? Because I'm super excited for Chainsaw Man Part 2 whenever it, hopefully, fingers crossed, releases this year. I want to talk about some specific things that I feel like should be addressed a little bit more. Now, obviously, because Chainsaw Man is moving into Shonen Jump Plus, which is a digital magazine which features Kaiju number 8, Spy X Family, did also recently feature Hell's Paradise. There's a lot more things that can be done with Chainsaw Man. Weekly Shonen Jump has its restrictions in terms of what it allows to be pushed within its magazine, whereas Jump Plus doesn't have those same restrictions. It genuinely caters to every age demographic, even though it has the shonen title in it. So while you could technically still say that Chainsaw Man is a shonen, but with where it's published, it also covers pretty much every age bracket you can imagine. With this, the flexibility for some series, like Hell's Paradise for example, allows more mature and dark themes to be explored in a lot more of a deeper way. It allows them to be fleshed out and played upon in a very brutal and authentic / realistic type of way. Depending on where you're published, obviously, a lot of stories will either get persuaded to avoid this or avoid it in general. One, because it's super difficult to write, but two, it may not work well with the guidelines of where your story is published. Traumatic, abusive, deathly, serious conversations that are always super engaging and authentic and hard-hitting within narratives tend to not mesh all too well when you're trying to publish, or at least are bracketed towards a younger demographic. Understandable. Chainsaw Man Part 2 doesn't have that problem. So one very specific thing that I would love for Fujimoto to actually explore a little bit more further in detail, and I feel like with the school setting, it's a perfect time to do so, is Denji's family. This is something we know very little about. We know a very small portion of Denji's upbringing. We know what it has done to him, the abusive effects that it has taken, how that's molded his emotions, his personality, his thought process. Everything about Denji right now, from what we've seen from the story, is indicative to his past. And you're probably thinking, that's not much. Denji's not that crazy of a character, he's not that unordinary. But when you start to peel back the very obvious things, a lot of his trauma, a lot of his past becomes a lot more clear. And it's rather heartbreaking when you think about it. It's a very serious conversation that I feel like could only be explored with this change in magazine. If Fujimoto, of course, wanted to go down that route. Denji on the surface is very simple, but there's a very specific reason for it, and it's because of his past. It's because of his upbringing. His growth as a child has been very dangerously stunted. It's hard to think that Denji is 15 to 16 years old within Chainsaw Man's story. When he talks, acts, and has this mental attitude and emotional contribution to being anywhere between 9 to 12. Obviously, something doesn't line up here. So when we find out about his past, when we find out about his mother a little bit, very portionally, we find out about his father, things start to clear themselves up. Things start to make a lot more sense. His father was an alcoholic. His father was abusive. His father ran up a massive debt and had a gambling addiction and was truly a degenerate. Did not care for his own child, Denji, and potentially didn't even care for his own partner or wife, Denji's mother. And obviously you could easily build this off in a completely different direction. You can say that he is all of these things because of the passing of Denji's mother, which is something we know nothing about, and I would absolutely love for Fujimoto to play upon, because if anything, the beautiful tragic nature of Denji's character, his architecture, his framework, his foundation is all starting from when he was a child, is all starting from his parents and how they treated him, how they molded him. So when Denji's father is extremely abusive, when he's ran up this debt, has treated Denji like nothing, has not provided a life that all children deserve, it gets to the point where it gets dangerous. It becomes extremely traumatic. It affects children in a way that you can't even imagine, and it is 100% the reason why Denji has stunted growth. He has not progressed or grown past a mental and emotional development point. He's not progressed past this certain age to really cement this idea, because this can easily just happen from abusive parents. This can easily just happen to neglect, to your parents not teaching you certain rules and structures and societal norms throughout your upbringing. This is not having the adequate teachings that a child deserves, the adequate love, care, and affection that a child deserves. Take all of that away and it will give you that result, but to fully ground that in and make it 100% concrete is Denji felt the need to defend himself. That there was a point in time where there was an altercation with his father that ended up with Denji killing him. Now, you can only imagine what that altercation would have been. You can only imagine how disgusting or traumatic or horrible that altercation could have been. We already know his father is all of these horrendous things, but what pushed Denji to the limit? What did his father do this one time that had Denji fearing for his own life? Mind you, this was someone that was fully in debt up to this point. Someone that the Yakuza, the mafia, were tracking down and hunting and trying to get this massive debt paid off. Even after his father's death, that debt followed Denji and it too affected him immensely. It continuously dictated and changed his life after everything. It kept him in this stunted state of mind, this traumatic experience. So I can only imagine the altercation that Denji and his father had was something relating to debt, something relating to his father not seeing his own son as a human, as an individual, potentially trying to sell him off, maybe even worse. Enough for Denji to fear for his life, enough for Denji to kill his father, lock it away in his memories, and unfortunately allow it to let it eat and corrode and corrupt his core being. We don't know about this till much later on, and it starts to make a lot more sense why Denji is the way he is, why he's so simplistic, why he's so childlike, why he does not act the age that he is meant to be. It's not just humor, even though it comes across as humor, which is just a very intelligent writing technique to hide everything in plain sight. This is all trauma. So I'm curious if all of this does potentially get explained with part 2, if it eventually leads to his mother being potentially this blinding light or this happiness that Denji latched onto. Because originally I was thinking, has Fujimoto ever played upon parents before? And I was thinking back to Fire Punch and I couldn't necessarily put my finger on it. Yes and no, but not necessarily in the same way that Chainsaw Man's doing it, so I can't really draw a comparison. I'm genuinely unsure if he even wants to do it, but I want to say the way his mother supposedly died, which is from heart conditions, which is something that was seemingly hereditary, meaning that it carries over to the next generation of children. Denji seemed like he had that same condition, that before Pochita merged with him, he too was experiencing those same heart conditions as his mother. At least that's what he thinks was happening. Mind you, this is propelled and escalated much quicker because of the lifestyle that he was living. Not eating enough food, not living in a safe environment, selling off body parts to pay for his father's debt, hunting devils, trying to survive and still carrying this massive burden within himself that is eating away at him every single day. I find it ironic that his mother potentially died from a heart condition that Denji was showing symptoms for with coughing up blood in chapter 1, to then the thing saving him was the devils that he was meant to be killing, and the devil Pochita, his only friend at the time, becoming his new heart. So if that is in reference to his mother to any degree, him going to school, him learning about family dynamics, him getting taught all of these things that he missed out on as a child, as a young teenager, potentially confronting his legitimate last name, whatever it may be, potentially using Aki's last name to actually be entered into the school. There's a lot of common connection here that links to his past, that links to everything that he missed out on as a child, which could easily be played upon towards his father, which easily could be played upon towards his mother. Chainsaw Man Part 2 could easily be the best scenario for it, to play upon Denji's family, to give potential reasoning or more backbone to why his father was so abusive. Did he become that way because of Denji's mother's passing, or was he always like that? How vicious did it truly become? What pushed Denji over that limit regarding the altercation? What was Denji's mother like? Was she kind and caring and someone that Denji loved wholeheartedly? Is that a big reason why the people he chases regarding women, regarding Makima, is some sort of reflection of what he truly wants? To be embraced by a woman that he can kind of deem as a motherly figure, which sounds weird when I put it like that, but is actually very tragically common, that he's seeking someone to replace or remind or refill that love and appreciation, that affection that he wants, because he never got it, or because he specifically misses it from his mother. At this point, this has become some sort of ongoing ramble, if not the whole video was somewhat of an ongoing ramble, but there is a lot of incredible things that Chainsaw Man Part 2 could actually produce. This is only a small portion of it, and something that I personally am super excited for and hope that Fujimoto wants to play upon. He doesn't have to. Hell, he could completely avoid it if he really wanted to, but I would love to know more about his father. I would love to know more about the family dynamics between them all, and especially his mother. Not as a big reveal, but what it done to Denji, why he is the person he is today, as he matures, grows, and evolves throughout Chainsaw Man Part 2, making brand new friends, understanding the beauty of relationships and potentially a girlfriend or a best friend within a school setting, learning the power dynamics between teacher and student. There's so much potential for growth to get him out of the corrupted mindset that he was forced within at a young age. And we've already seen him peak over that horizon. We've already seen his wants and goals shift and change immensely, and that is a very healthy thing. That's a very good start. Regardless, Chainsaw Man Part 2 has a lot to offer, and I couldn't be more excited to see what Fujimoto comes up with. So with that being said, that is basically it. Let me know what you would like to see from Chainsaw Man Part 2, because there's a lot of great things. Maybe you want to see something similar to what I've just talked about, or maybe you want to see more from Makima or Nayuta, I believe her name was. Maybe Power's return, maybe a little bit more on Arky if we see anything behind the scenes regarding him. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts. But I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Drink plenty of water, and I will see you within the next one. Goodbye.